Xavier Worthy, an outstanding wide receiver from the University of Texas, drafted in the first round. However, just like me, he is not Jesus, so he does need some improvement.
Spicy Steve.
Beep, beep, here he comes.
Let's do it. When you have a guy that can run so fast, there's this belief that he's gonna be uncoverable, and that's not the case.
The reason it was slow go in the beginning of the season was he didn't know how to practice with Patrick Mahomes.
You're a heck of a football player, but get out your feelings, dog, because Agent A9 is gonna be here for a long time.
Worthy a big play.
Look at that. The hater actually knows what he's talking about.
Xavier Worthy has been watching what gets broken down here on 89. He commented, we see, on a portion, chopped up, small clip, talking about him prior to the draft.
How long ago was that, though?
Some time ago. And I actually didn't think it was all that bad.
It was some time ago? I'm confused on what was the problem with what I said.
I didn't think there was anything wrong. It was also a small portion of what his entire breakdown was. But
Yeah.
Xavier, hope you're watching. You can watch this entire breakdown of what your rookie season was all about. 28th pick, Steve. Chiefs trade up with the Buffalo Bills to snag Xavier Worthy. The rest of the NFL went, how do you put this guy with Patrick Mahomes? What are you doing, Bills? This is after he ran the fastest 40 in combine history. Leads the Chiefs with 6 receiving touchdowns, 9 scrimmage touchdowns. First on the team in YAC, second in targets and receptions and receiving yards.
I would say this, though. His rookie year, compared to my rookie year, blew me out of the water because I was a returner. I think I played one game. I think I started one game. Had 15 receptions. So yes, every rookie moving forward will probably have a better rookie season than me because I was not a receiver.
You were a Pro Bowler.
Oh, don't tell people that. Now you're capping.
Don't get mad.
I'm just bringing it up because every time we do these, people are getting in their feelings, and some of the YMCA generation. People are asking me what do I think about these guys. If you disagree, there's about 328,000 views on last year's, and it's probably gonna be double that this year because let me tell you, I ain't holding back this year. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And I've already done 75, let me repeat, 75 breakdowns on players. And there's some players, is one line, ain't wasting my time. And there's some players, ooh, I can't wait to talk about. But let's get back to Xavier Worthy, an outstanding wide receiver from the University of Texas, drafted in the first round. However, just like me, he is not Jesus, so he does need some improvement on it. So for my first grade, route running, C. Too much of a speed guy depending on his speed, but understanding if you run routes on your speed, you are now, no matter how fast you are, you can't outrun math. And that's called leverage and angles. And that a few times he's allowed himself to get mathematically covered because of trying to utilize his speed, which I call those speed merchants. Speed merchants generally don't run precise routes. And we're gonna show you some film where he needs to improve on route running, or he just will be considered a speed merchant. And we all know what happened with speed merchant. James Jett was an outstanding wide receiver who was known for speed, but he was not a great route runner.
I like that. I want to take us all the way back to the start of this season, Steve, which started in training camp, and the Chiefs thought they were going to have this explosive offense. You know, the offense had been down the last couple of years, even though they're winning Super Bowls. But they wanted to get back to the early years of Patrick Mahomes where they wanted to go downfield more. And that's why they went and got Hollywood Brown. That's why they drafted Xavier Worthy. And these guys were going to get vertical, and it was going to open up space.
To match up with Rashee Rice.
And open up space in the middle of the field for Rashee Rice coming across. Man, that's one of my favorite videos we've ever done when we broke down Rashee Rice's shallow crosses, Steve. Remember that early in the season? Just that space underneath for him and Travis Kelce to work with these guys going vertical. Well, what ends up happening, Rashee goes down obviously early in the season. Hollywood Brown goes down pretty much before the season starts. And Xavier Worthy was put originally in a role over here. And as the season went on, he had to be put in a role over here. And so he was forced to grow as a piece of this offense as the year went on and really play a role that he didn't believe he was going to be playing for most of the season.
Prematurely forced.
Yeah, they definitely have expectations for him to get into these.
Yeah, generally kind of warm him up, get him kind of gradually built in. But he became all of a sudden, he was a preemie baby who became all of a sudden expected to be running full speed and know, hey, man, I know in training camp we was giving you Gerbers, but hey, you got to eat solid food today. But my stomach and my bowels ain't ready for it. Don't matter. We need you now.
Exactly. And that's why I will say this. If you look at what he did by the end of the season and what he did in the Super Bowl, I know he had 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. Second touchdown does come after Nick Sirianni's just dripping with Gatorade.
Got a touchdown, though.
The growth that he had through the year, I'm giving him a B because of what he was thrown into. This is from people in Kansas City, multiple people in Kansas City. The reason it was slow go in the beginning of the season, Steve, was he didn't know how to practice with Patrick Mahomes. And you have to learn.
Hold up. He didn't know how to practice?
Listen, I didn't say he didn't know how to practice, period. I said
you even woke your dog up. Even
Mahomes.
your dog said,
That's my dog. Hank's right down here, man. Hank didn't like that comment.
Hank said, huh, I done heard that before. Hank said, that ain't the first.
No. Patrick practices one way. That goes back to when he was practicing with Tyreek Hill, who goes 100 miles an hour every rep. Travis Kelce goes 100 miles an hour every single rep.
Preach.
And you got to learn that you don't go 80% on your reps in training camp with Patrick Mahomes.
You gonna learn today.
100%. And he doesn't get the feel for you. He doesn't get the feel for how you go out and run your routes, how you play. And it took time for Xavier Worthy, I was told, to figure that out. He did figure it out. He did figure, if I practice like this, Patrick understands me better, understands me as a receiver better, and he's such a big quarterback on trust. I need to build that through these reps in practice. He didn't get that in the beginning talking to people in Kansas City. He had to learn that, and once he did, that's when things started to grow between him and Patrick Mahomes. And so that's part of his growth, part of the issue in the beginning of the season. This is from people that were there at practice, but they also said he started to learn it as the year went on, and then he grew as a receiver when that happened. Good, it is good for him, and it was good because there were people there like McCole Hardman and other guys that had been in that earlier receiver room saying, "Hey, this is how we work." I think that benefited Xavier Worthy. I think X actually said this. I don't know if we're close enough for me to call him X, but I'll throw it out there.
Mr. Worthy.
I think being in a room with Hop the second half of the year had to help Mr. Worthy. Hop, I can call him Hop. But with these veteran receivers that were in there, I'm kind of curious what that did for Xavier Worthy during his rookie year. I mean, there's not much that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't know about the receiver position and playing it. And then you also have Travis Kelce around you. You also have Juju Smith-Schuster around you. Guys that have been around. That's why I wanted to talk about his growth a little bit, because it didn't start great. But it's part of learning how to be an NFL player.
Yeah, he does a lot of things well, but there's some things he needs to improve on, and we'll get into it. So let's go ahead and get into his routes. All right, going against the Cincinnati Bengals, right? This is a traditional go route. So let me show you something that is a great example. Go back to the beginning. Put a red arrow on Xavier. Put a green arrow on Rashid Rice. In the go route, there's this imaginary red line that they have in practice. That's what you call saving room for the quarterback. Rashid Rice shows you as a number one wide receiver how to run a route. You attack the corner on his leverage, has the corner jump inside, goes outside. Now let's go down there to Xavier Worthy, who gives this little sloppy ass route right here and just gives her, hey, I'm fast. I'm fast doesn't mean anything. They're in cover 2. You got to attack him to get him to move his leverage, or 2-man, whichever one. Basement GMs, let me know which one it is. But the bottom of the line is Rashid Rice does a great job of attacking the leverage, which opens him up. Xavier Worthy does not. He will learn and he will be a heck of a player. But just giving a guy a little head fake is not going to be good enough. All right, now we're moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. Another go route. Goes inside, uses his speed. Great job, catches the ball. This is who Xavier Worthy is. He's a dynamic football player. They're in zone coverage. Boom! Little hit. Gives him a little hitch, goes. That's nice. Here's the problem. If he was running a comeback, corner would have covered. No press, straight line, speed merchant. Move on to the next one, right? So that was that was the second quarter, 4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining. Second quarter, here's where you have to do it, where you have to be able to change up your route, because if you think you're gonna be able to do the same things over and over again, it's not gonna work. Here we go. Look at this route. That route don't work. You see this?
Mm-hmm.
He's down at the bottom. I'm not sure what that is. Didn't finish the route. That's not the routes that we want to see from an excellent wide receiver like Xavier Worthy.
Was that a dolphin?
What you say?
Sounded like a dolphin.
Oh, no, it's that little circle, the drink circle. Up at the top, he's running a deep end. I need a little bit better wiggle. Straight line guy, guys off, crossing over, get a little cattywampus. I just got to see a better route. This is an interesting route, and this where not really sure I understand it, just kind of leaving it out there. Sprint right option, does a good job. I'm not sure why he dives for the football and body catches it. If he catches that football with his hands, turns upfield, but instead, I'm not really sure. You know, just a young guy trying to secure the catch. I love it. Gets the first down. Nothing really much you can say about that, negative or bad. He does his assignment. But understanding, right, that's where...
Move the chains.
Yes, but that's also where you utilize that speed.
Mm-hmm.
You catch that ball and go, and all of a sudden now, with his speed, 4.2, look how much space is there. He catches that ball and turns up the field. Whoo! That's a foot race that, let's be honest, he wins.
Every time?
Every time. But instead, body catches it. You know, sometimes it happens. Could have been the linebacker. He saw it late. I don't know. You know, but I just know with his amount of speed, with that catch, put the ball in his hands and, hey, let's see what happens. Right here, I just need a better release. Bottom line, that release is not going to work. That's one of the things that he's going to have to work on next year is understanding, like, when you looking at this film, other teams looking at this film saying, hey, if you give him room, he'll go. But if you get him pressed up, he starts dancing, which throws the timing off on this offense, which when the timing is off on this offense, let's be honest, we just watched the Super Bowl. When the timing is off with this offense, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Mahomes and this offense does not impact the defense the same way.
And Steve, real quick, before we move on, Steve, I want to ask, because people are going to ask, well, why are you critiquing what he's doing on his release on a run play?
Because on a run play is where you collect data and know if a guy is he right-handed or left-handed? Is his right foot? Did he pull his hamstring? He has tape on his legs, on his ankles. He only has tape on his right ankle. Does that mean that he's favoring it? It's data. It's to be able to put the doubt in the corner's mind that, hey, even though this was a run play, I ran past you. So when it's a pass play, you better back up. You better know that I have the potential to beat you on the route. That's why I'm talking about it. So on my notes,
I wanted you to say it.
Thank you. I have better releases. So here again, against the 49ers, need a better release. You see what I'm talking about? If you're doing all that dancing and then you get outside of your framework, look, now you just made the job for the corner easy. And you talk about timing. This is the timing I'm talking about. Look at the timing. Look at the offensive line. Look at all these receivers all clustered up. What happened? When he's tripping a little bit, watch the check down. Now they're all clumped up and then on top of each other. And so now, look, if Patrick were to throw the ball to Xavier, the linebacker who's now looking has the opportunity to throw his hand up. The corner has the opportunity to run through the defender to bat the ball down. Is this me being critical? I'm not being critical. It's called spacing. Spacing is part of the offense, especially with Andy Reid's, the old school West Coast, all of these offenses. Spacing is paramount. Spacing is more valuable than sometimes catching a football because spacing can also get you in trouble and that's how picks are made and that's how telegraphing the play beforehand because of poor spacing or bad releases. Now, pressed up, poor angle. Here's what I'm gonna show you about a poor angle before you go. Highlight Fred Warner, highlight the other linebacker. They're running an over route. He's running an over the top of the linebacker. But instead he goes underneath. And because he goes underneath, watch what happens. Patrick has to throw the ball, but he doesn't throw it with the intent to throw it to the player. He throws it where he should be. Because he does that, with the spacing, it allows the back end corner to watch the eyes as they go, you. See how the corner's pointing? You. But because he goes underneath the linebacker instead of over top, it throws off the spacing, which allows the corner now. If he was going over the top, he would have been at the 35 and been able to get there, and the corner would have still been about 3 or 4 yards down, which would give him opportunity. That is the confusion and the youngness of Xavier Worthy. Look, see that? He's supposed to go over top. Because look at the spacing. I know Cotton Picker well. Xavier Worthy and Juju Smith-Schuster should not be right there. And look at Kelsey. Kelsey's trying to, if he goes over top, Kelsey knows, hey, I got to obstruct the vision of the linebacker because he's going over the top, because Kelsey's setting, going across, timing, and Kelsey and Juju Smith-Schuster are working together. Single side goes over the top, double side goes underneath, which is Juju Smith-Schuster. Kelsey's over the top. So Kelsey's job over the top is to get in the opposing defender's way. Look, you see what he's trying to do? He's giving that, let me get in his way. But because the timing's off, the whole play is a bust. And let's be honest, we got Bosa. He's been disruptive too. That's why timing, angles, and spacing is paramount in the National Football League. And speed cannot always fix bad timing or spacing. And you'll sound like a dolphin. My bad, broski. Okay, next play.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, with the new year beginning, we're here to remind you that life is more and maybe more complex than just resolutions that fade in February. It's about picking up the pen, becoming the author of your own life. BetterHelp is completely online, so it's therapy that is both convenient and affordable, and serving more than 5 million people worldwide. So, write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/89 and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/89.
This is the type of release that a speed guy does. So down here in the slot, boom. He's so much faster than this guy. So much faster. But he widens so much that he's allowed now the space of the field to help the corner cover a significantly faster, better wide receiver. So I would love if, as he releases, stack him, get back on top, allow the defender to be at your back, not parallel or next to you. So that way now the defender has to go through the wide receiver to get to the football. But instead he widens too much, and that's where he tries to outrun, and that's where the young speed merchant mentality comes in. I've done it. A lot of speed guys do it. That's the part that that's what the route running he's gonna have to improve on, because Andy Reid wants to utilize his speed. He's a mismatch. Big time. But if he doesn't use proper technique, he's not gonna be able to impact the game in the way he can impact the game. Now this route right here, I'ma just let y'all go ahead. That don't work.
What do you mean?
That you're gonna get covered. That's I want to see a better route. Just being 100. Up at the top. Clampville. I ain't gonna say. I just let it play. Nothing for me to say. Now Super Bowl. Look at this. Goes in the slot. Look, goes over the top of the corner. Goes over the top of the linebacker. And what happens? Spacing. Look at that. The hater actually knows what he's talking about. Great route. Good job. And let me throw this out there too. in case all you people gonna say it. He had, how many yards did he have?
638.
638. Well, young fella, only 13,362 more yards to catch up with Agent 89 in wide receiver category, and that would be only 17,000 more for all purpose. So good luck, Buttercup.
Steve, let me ask you this. That San Francisco game is week 7.
Correct.
And then you see how he's running in the Super Bowl. When I talked about growth in the year,
yes.
Did you see that when you go through these plays, the way the first several weeks of the season were and the way they were at the end of the year?
But that's also what I was talking about, where sometimes when you have a guy that can run so fast, there's this belief that he's going to be uncoverable, and anything and everything he does, he will be perfect. And that's not the case. And that's what I was just trying to say earlier in the beginning, where when he was running, when we saw how fast he was, they say, hey, there's going to be some things that people don't understand, that speed doesn't matter. If you don't run with precision, if you don't know how and why you're running something, it can be problematic. And I just want to be critical in regards of, I like him and I think he could play football. But just because I'm critical, it's not because I'm hating or disgusted by you. I'm just saying, hey, man, you got a lot of potential. For me, catching, he can catch a football. B, potential, B. But you can't use your speed as the answer. Just like with anything else, if you got some money, you can't throw more money into the problem thinking that that's going to solve it. You got to do the dirty work.
And Steve, you know the number of people I know in Kansas City. You know a lot of the same people, and we've talked to a lot of them. And they all say the same thing. Love Worthy as a kid. I mean, they absolutely are enamored with him as a person. And they think he is way more than just a speed guy. I think you think that. I think a lot of people learn that who maybe thought that this first year.
To the white meat.
The other part that really stands out to me is there's not a single person I talked to in Kansas City that did not say, this is a really, really smart football player. Like, this is a smart kid. He's going to get it. He's going to grow quick because of how intelligent he is and his understanding of the game. And so they have high expectations. The other part of it is, and two different guys said this to me, is we don't really know what we can do with him yet. And I think we're trying to figure that out. And that's part of a receiver's rookie year too, is the staff is trying to figure out who you are as a player. And they're trying to figure that out as the year goes on. And you know Andy Reid and his staff in this offseason is going to go, now we know we can do this, we probably can't do that, let's make sure we do this. And he has a better sophomore season, because who's better than setting up their players to succeed than Andy Reid and finding out what Worthy can do?
But he also has to work on some of the things that he did not do well footwork-wise, that can slow him down in his route running, that would not allow him to receive the football, because Patrick is also the devil in the details of how you get open and when you get open. And if you're not open when he's looking, then he's going to move on even if you were open. But the progression and the style in which you get open and how long it takes you can sometimes take away from your receptions.
That is perfectly put, because what was also said to me, I'm just looking at my notes, is we overthrew him at times, we underthrew him at times, we missed him at times. What does that probably mean? That means exactly what you're saying. That's that detail of just getting exactly where you need to be. It looks like we overthrew him or we underthrew him and things like that, but it's being exactly where Patrick wants it, being exactly on the same page, the chemistry, all that. It's going to build. It's going to keep building as they continue to work on this thing. And they do think he is going to be a real player in this league.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I would say, and I don't think this is fair to Xavier Worthy, there are too many people that think he is going to be Tyreek Hill. And I don't think that's fair to him. Coming into the league, he should be his own player.
Yeah, but his frame and his style, there are two different men, right?
I totally agree. But what does everybody say? Speed guy with Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's what the casual observer is going to say. I think they are built differently.
And that's lazy. That's lazy analysis right there, though.
Well, listen, there's a lot of that going around. That's why we do this show.
I mean, I've been a lazy analysis myself at times. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, true. So
my overall grade is a B. Looking forward to what he can impact and what's to come from the Kansas City Chiefs and Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, I don't know you from Adam, but looking at your film, man, you're a great kid. Love what you could present. I would just say this, man. I'm just trying to do my job and say, hey, man, you're a heck of a football player. You have a bright future. But I played the position. Now, I may not play the position the way you believed I played it, but if you look at my film and you can go back, I'll come to Kansas City. We could watch it. We could watch film. We could talk. But this belief that these young players believe that I'm sitting at the house pondering how I can talk negative about them, I'm not. I'm just watching film and giving my very filtered expertise on what I believe you can be and how I believe you can improve. But if anybody out of these guys like we've had in the last couple of years, if you don't like what I said, one, slide my DMs, put your number in there, and we can have a conversation. Or you can come to Charlotte and we can have a conversation. Not conversation of fisticuffs. Conversation is the same way Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, Marshall Faulk, even though me and him have had our spats, Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp is my guy. Shannon Sharp, Randy Moss. All these guys have taught me, spent time with me, gave me some harsh criticism. And all I'm doing is trying to do the same in regards of humbling myself to say, I'm sitting at the house watching your film, saying that you're a heck of a player. Some of y'all may not like it. We know some of the people that haven't, but that's fine. But what we not gonna do no more in 2025, we not gonna have this competition as this, you don't like what I said, so you're gonna tweet all you want. And I'm gonna still bring up this film and show you that I think y'all good players who can play in this league. But not every guy's perfect. I'm not perfect. My stuff is documented. You can Google me. Yes, I've been arrested. I've done stupid things, and I wish I never have. But understand, the one thing I can do is I can play ball. I can play a little golf. But I have a love and a desire to look at this game and grade it and say, hey, these are the studs in the league. Here's the upcoming. Here's the underrated. And sometimes, here's the overrated. And you, my friend, are not overrated. You're a heck of a football player. But get out your feelings, dog, because Agent A9 is going to be here for a long time. And if you don't like it, you better talk to Underdog, because they the people that's loving and digging what we're doing. So until next time, we shall continue to critique, coach, and talk about and analyze every wide receiver that is coming in the NFL and some who will route themselves out of the NFL. We've seen it. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think, how you feel, and we will respond. If you don't like us, let us know. If you like us, hit that subscribe button.
And if we got a booger in our nose, just make sure you comment about that too.
I don't understand. I didn't really see that you had a booger, so I'm sorry, Jay.
I noticed halfway through.
Really? Why didn't you stop and just blow your nose?
I think I was on a groove, maybe? I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch. Jalen Polk. That's nothing he could do about that, Steve, at all. I got a giant booger coming out of my mouth, my nose. That's nothing he could do about that at all.